I got into a Genesis. This is luxury. Whether it's a sleek G70 or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.
You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
Turns out that, of course, Bill O'Reilly's about to join me. He loves the Beach Boys. Loves them. And Brian Wilson, according to the great Lou Ruffino, he died a year ago today. Lou, is that right?
Today's the day, yeah.
Wow.
11th, yeah.
Been a year already.
Right.
I think Bill was on last year, the day he died, too. I don't remember exactly, but... So there's a little Beach Boys for you. Bill O'Reilly was the best. He still is the best. He'll always be the best, whether it's every Thursday with me or Monday with Katz and Cosby. He's got his own amazing website, BillO'Reilly.com. That's where you get the news. Does a great job, great TV, great interviews, great columns every day. A wonderful author, 13 books in. The Killing series, his book on the presidents, I think is the best ever. I love Confronting Evil. He's got a brand new book coming out again this September. You can catch him on News Nation 2. Does a great job there with the likes of Chris Cuomo, Stephen A. Smith, and others. And, of course, he's got his new podcast. He just had Anthony Scaramucci on. Not a big fan, but that's fine. His podcast is great. I've been on it once myself, and it's called, of course, We'll Do It Live. Here he is, the all-time best, Bill O'Reilly. Bill, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm the same, which is tragic for everyone. No evolution here. We don't evolve.
No, I don't believe that's true because I know this. I have seen you. Now, you and I have gone together. You're very generous to a lot of Met games. A lot. You've invited me. I've been to one Knick game with you, but I see you at the Garden a lot at New York Knick games, right by Corey Zelnick there in that second row. And with the Knicks, one win away from breaking a 53-year drought. I can't believe, Bill O'Reilly, that you're the quote-unquote same today.
I don't get emotional about this stuff. It was quite a game, I'll tell you that, and it's cutting into my sleep time. These games, they last at 2 a.m.
I know.
I mean, they never, because ABC stacks them with so many commercials.
Yep.
If I see another SUV drive off a cliff, I mean, how many of these things have you got? But anyway, that was a historical game for two reasons. Biggest comeback ever. And one step closer to getting this championship that New Yorkers will always remember their whole lives. And both are good things.
Although the city has not afforded itself great. I don't know if you heard Craig Carton on earlier, but the FAN afternoon host had Jim Dolan live in studio yesterday, and he was very tough. I was happy to hear that on Mom Donnie. He was equally tough. I was not happy to hear that on Jessica Tisch, the police commissioner. I thought he was a bit unfair when it came to her. But either way, he thought the city was doing a really bad job, these watch parties and, pretty much shutting down all of 7th and 8th Avenue on game nights and screwing local businesses there in the city. And he seemed equally as upset with the way the city is being run as he was excited about his basketball team on the precipice of winning a championship. I'm not sure if you heard that, but that was Dolan yesterday.
Yeah, I don't really understand this. You had your watch parties in Central Park and down Lower Manhattan. You had another watch party where 17 people were arrested. One cop winds up in the hospital.
Right, that's Bryant Park, and that happened on 2 consecutive watch parties. Yeah.
So why do we have to have the watch party in a proximity of a president rolling into town? I don't understand. You want to watch, you go to a watch party in city-provided areas. I think the cops were happy and relieved that they weren't going to have confrontations, and I think Tisch did a really good job. I was there yesterday. I didn't go to the game, but I was at Moynihan Hall in Penn Station. We shot a thing with Gene Simmons, the Kiss guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Where do you see this?
He's great. He's great.
It's really something. But anyway, and yeah, there was some inconvenience, but it wasn't anything extraordinary. And, you know, we don't want anybody getting hurt. And there are a lot of loons. And if you can isolate the loons, you have to isolate them. And simple as that. Now, when the Knicks win, and I believe they will, the championship, then you're going to have another problem.
Big one. Big one. 3.5 million people. Yeah, 3.5 million people in Lower Manhattan. Good luck.
Yeah, and then a parade, and then so the more that the police can organize it so that the loons don't cluster together, the better. I don't know what the beef is. I really don't.
Well, the beef is that, you know, people want these parties, but I'm a New Yorker, and I love the Knicks, and I love my fellow New Yorkers, but we've embarrassed ourselves the last. Now, Craig said, listen, it's only a couple of hundred out of thousands and thousands. That may be true. That may be true.
Enough to put a lot of people in the hospital.
In the hospital, and also perception sometimes is more dangerous than reality. And guess what they're showing all over the country? People getting arrested in New York. We're like Los Angeles. We're like Detroit. And we're winning. We're winning basketball games. We're playing for a championship. So, to me, I don't want any further embarrassment for the city that I love. You see, the mayor, he doesn't care, that prick, because he's all about chaos. He's all about this type of thing. He loves to see 6,000 pro-Hamas people running up and down the streets. I actually had a tweet last night, Mr. Mayor, this is not Uganda. This is not Gaza. In New York City, we don't want to see people getting beat up in the street, especially cops. But the mayor, as you know, Bill O'Reilly, he doesn't care.
Unless it's a soccer game.
Right. Right.
So if a Muslim nation advances in the World Cup, he's going to be doing cartwheels out there. I don't know if this is possible, but I would just arrest the mayor for 30 days. Is that possible?
Oh, so
just
please,
arrest him till the World Cup is over.
Oh, that'd be
because you're going to have lose at the World Cup too.
I know.
That's built into the soccer culture.
Yeah.
But as far as the Knicks are concerned, I mean, they're winning on all fronts now. Their owners should be delirious with joy. And these little nitpick things, come on.
Don't let it bother you, right? We're playing for a championship.
You have
exactly.
to watch it in Central Park, and you're not standing on 31st Street. I think you can live with that.
I think so, too. So I got a buddy. His name is Russ Sullivan. He served our country proudly, Secret Service. His brothers all live in Breezy Point. They own this really famous roast beef restaurant in Brooklyn. Brennan and Carr, his brother Michael. Thomas has run for office. Brian's a cop. I mean, they're a great family. And he keeps texting me. He's upset. Why would President Trump continue to do interviews like he did last Sunday with Kristen Walker? Now, we know President Trump always says yes. He goes on with even Jake Tapper. Tapper's a little better than the MS Now and CNN people, but he's also very unpredictable. These other people, he knows what he's getting into. Do you think at some point, Caitlin Collins, do you think at some point President Trump is going to say enough is enough?
No. I had a long talk with him about this. And it was in the body of the media in general and how it's conducting itself in the USA. And his point of view is that he wants his opinion out there, and he's willing to take the wrath of the people who don't like him in the media to get the opinion out, unfiltered. And he believes that the American people have backlashed against the media so much that him just showing up is a win-win. It makes some kind of sense because there is a war between the executive branch, President Trump, and the corporate media, and Trump's winning that war. He's winning it. That was my column this week on BillO'Reilly.com. And if you just look at all of the casualty count in the corporate media, Americans, even if you don't like Donald Trump, you know that these people are trying to hurt him. That is not the role of a journalist. So Americans are rebelling. That's a pretty good word. The ratings are low for television news. The people who hate Trump, like Scott Pelley, are not there anymore. Colbert, he's just knocking them down one at a time. He's winning that war.
Although, Pelley was on a news magazine show and Colbert was on a late-night entertainment. So when is Joe and Mika going to go, or some of these other horrible people at actual news networks?
Well, a lot of them walked the line. See, Welker, when he walked in, Trump walked in, Welker could have asked all of those questions and should have, but in a non-confrontational way.
Correct.
So I've done more interviews than I think any human being on earth. And when I want something, I'll come in confrontational. I mean, I have to tell the truth.
Sure.
Like, if you're Barney Frank and you're lying to me, I'm going to come down and the anvil is going to come down on your head.
Right.
But most of the time, I ask the question not for condemnation, but for information.
Right. And let me give you a good example of that. There are two young girls, okay? I used to like them both. Now I'm not so sure. I like one a lot. One is Rachel Scott. She works for ABC. She used to pull in for David Muir. Now Lindsay Davis does, but she's a big-time reporter. And she had a bad scrape with President Trump in Chicago when he was running a couple of years ago. You may remember that. And the other is Caitlin Collins, CNN. They can ask the same question. And President Trump will not get angry with Rachel Scott, but he'll embarrass Caitlin Collins every time. Because for some reason, I know you like her, I don't, and I was friendly with her. I try to help her. I would text her and say, Caitlin, take it easy. Every now and then, tell him he looks good. Then cloud him about Iran. But you can't walk in there every time and look to fight with this guy at every opportunity. Rachel and Caitlin can ask the same question, but Caitlin's in trouble every time because she doesn't get it. You can't be that way every single time.
And it's after the fact that he objects to most. So what they do, and what Ms. Collins does, is, they'll do a Trump, and then they'll load up the panel with four people who hate Trump
right.
and one person who doesn't hate him so much, but who's got tape over his or her mouth. Right. So it's stacked. The deck is stacked. You know when you just turn on CNN or MS or whatever it is, and you look at the panel, it's stacked against Trump. That's what drives him crazy. And Collins is a show every night that does that.
Yep.
Rachel doesn't.
No.
All Rachel has is access to Trump once in a while. And apparently, I don't know this to be true because I'm not privy to it, she's respectful to Trump.
No, she is. And I talked to her quite a bit. She is the ABC White House correspondent. I'm not sure she voted for Trump. I doubt she did. But she is respectful, and she even likes him. I got to be honest. And I'm not sure Collins didn't like him not that long ago. I think when people come into business contact with Trump before it gets ugly, I think you like him.
He's got a very interesting personal presentation, Trump.
Yeah.
Okay? And it works a lot of the time. He's a flatterer. He flatters. But with Collins, he believes that she's in business to make him look bad.
And he's right, and she is. So I'm sure tonight she's going to be going on and on. But, he wants Carg Island. He's telling Iran, I'm warning you now, it's happening tonight. Tonight, not sometime in the next couple of days. Not get ready. Tonight we're going to hit you very, very hard. What does that mean for Iran? What does it mean for Israel? What does it mean for a potential deal, which is never going to happen, ever, ever, ever? And if it does, they're never going to comply. What does all this mean, all these threats coming from Trump today?
Well, I was trying to think of a plan B, just for discussion's sake. So what you just said is true. Yes, these mullahs are not going to, give up their ability to make a nuclear weapon.
Ever.
And they're not going to cooperate. They're not going to tell Hamas and Hezbollah to stand down. They're not going to do any of that. Okay, so then what? You're at an impasse. they're going to continue their terrible behavior, their threatening behavior, and you're the most powerful man in the world and the only leader who gives a fig about this. The others don't care, which is shocking. Okay? So what do? And you have to basically make it so painful that the country of Iran cannot function. Okay, and they're close to doing that. 80% inflation in Iran. That means people are having trouble buying bread.
Yeah, but they don't care. That's the problem.
Well,
it's not the regime. It's not the regime. Yes, some of them are struggling to go to Afghanistan, but those guys are doing fine. They don't care about the civilians if they starve to death. It means nothing. What good is that?
The folks in Iran care.
What are they going to do? They don't have guns.
You can't feed your children, and this is what I wrote this because there was an overthrow of the Shah, and I wrote about how that happened in Confronting Evil. And so what Israel and America are trying to do is make it almost impossible for the mullahs to function on a day-to-day basis.
Well, Bill, let's be practical, okay? Let's say, you're right, they make it impossible for the mullahs to function. Let's say the people, like you just talked about, you're 100% right, they want to take over like they did back in 1979. Who's going to arm them? You can't. They already mowed down 40,000 in the streets. They don't have guns, okay? They're going to lose. So are we going to arm these people? Who's going to make the civilians threatening? Who?
Well, first of all, you go on a general strike. All right, so nobody does anything. You're not making any money anyway because 80% inflation, you know.
Right.
Everything. So you've got to band together, and you basically have to tell the government nobody's working, nobody's going out of the house, nobody's going to do anything because we don't want you. You're killing our families. That's how a lot of these insurrections begin, with a general strike.
Gotcha.
Okay? So the people are basically sending a message, we don't want this anymore. And then as far as arms are concerned, you're at the mercy of killers. You're right. That's the only reason they're there. That would have been overthrown a long time ago. Okay? But you have to organize yourself. The people have to organize themselves. And say, okay, we can do this, we can do that. Here's what our strategy is. Now, I don't know, maybe they're doing it because there's no reporting coming out of Iran. You can't get anything in and out of there.
Nope.
But what's likely to happen is that the U.S. and Israel are going to really bomb all the facilities in Iran that get anything to the people. They're just going to wipe them on out. All the oil, everything. All right, boom, 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 boom. And then the Iranian people have a choice. You can either overthrow the mullahs or starve to death. Because they will literally starve to death.
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
What a nightmare. Well, thank God this segment was great, though.
We always look at it from a personal point of view.
That was a great 18 minutes of radio. I'm sorry for the poor people in Tehran this morning, but that was a great 18 minutes of radio, and that's the case every week, Bill. You're magnificent at this. You're so good. I love you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me, Sid.
Come on, please. I appreciate you coming on. The honor is mine. The great Bill O'Reilly, the best ever, with us every Thursday and just does a tremendous job. Check him out at BillO'Reilly.com.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?